Hi everyone, welcome. We're so happy to see you here with us tonight for Mimouna 101. I'm so excited that my friend Ziva and my friend Trau will be here teaching us about this amazing holiday, Mimouna, in just a moment. This program is one session in a new series that we're offering here at HaMaqom called Jewish Holidays and Traditions 101. And we're planning our next session for April 29th, which will be Lag BaOmer 101, and we hope to see you there. And this program, Jewish Holidays and Traditions 101, will continue to be free throughout the year thanks to our generous donors. And tonight, this event is sponsored by our new executive director, Rabbi Ruth Adar and Linda Burnett, and we're very thankful for that. So without further ado, I'm really excited to introduce Ziva Trau, amazing teacher and friend. Ziva, take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ziva Trau. I was born in Israel and I immigrated here 30 years ago. My daughter Danit is with me. She came here when she was 1 year old. And I'm so excited to be here with you tonight and share my experiences as a child in Eretz Israel celebrating Mimouna. I've been teaching in the Bay Area for the last 25 years, so I might know some of you here. And I was born in Israel, but my parents were born in Morocco. My father was born in Marrakesh and my mom was born in Casablanca. And they both immigrated to Israel in 1948, just after the creation of the land of Israel. In the beginning, they lived 10 years in Akko. And after 10 years, they decided to move to the north to a small village called Moshav Dvorah. Moshav Dvorah was a settlement of 60 families from Marrakesh. They came together as a group and settled in a small village in the north. If you know about Emek Israel, this is where I grew up. So I grew up with a lot of Moroccan traditions. I mean, we spoke Moroccan between us. We laughed in Moroccan. It was a very nice experience as a child to grow up in such a special moshav. So Danit, can you please share the first slide? So let's talk about what is Mimouna. So Mimouna is definitely a Moroccan Jewish celebration dinner that held a day after Passover is over, marking the return to eating chametz and the beginning of spring. So one thing that I remember most is my uncle. My uncle was in charge of the tzarchania. Tzarchania is a small store that 3 villages used to get all their food from. And, you know, at the end of Passover, the store was closed. So my uncle will bring a lot of flowers just when Passover was over to his house. And our parents send the children to get flowers from my uncle. We used to go to his house. He would give us flowers. We'll come back home. And this is how the Mimouna started. But before that, as you can see in the picture, my mom worked hard all week to make sure that the table for the Mimouna would look like this. She used to bake and bake and bake, but guess what? There's no flowers. So most of the cookies that she made were actually made of coconut and used a lot of food coloring. And everything was about sweet. She used to make orange jams and lemon jams and tangerine jams, and everything on the table was sweet. Here in the picture on the right, you see flour with faba bean. My mom used to have that too on the table. This was there as a symbol of fertility. So the faba bean and the flour is the symbol of fertility. We wanted to have a fertility year. And of course, a sweet year. Okay, Didi, next slide. Now, we don't know exactly where did the name Mimouna come from? There are three explanations. One of them says that it was named after the Rambam, which I'm sure a lot of you heard, but not him, his father. It either came for the date of his birth or his death, we're not sure. So the father of the Rambam. Another explanation that it came from the Arabic word for wealth and good fortune. And this is what, I'll tell you what my mom used to put for that too, which means mammon. Also in Hebrew, mammon means money, okay? And the last explanation, we think maybe it came from the word in Hebrew, emunah, which means faith or belief. We're not sure, but we definitely call it Mimouna. All right, Dani? Okay, so what was the Mimouna all about? So like I told you, my mom was born in Casablanca and raised in Casablanca. So she was raised in a place called Malach, a ghetto, where the king of Morocco, who really loved the Jews, put them together in one neighborhood to protect them. So every night the gate will be closed. So, you know, they would be protected. So there in the Malach, my mom says that the connection between the Muslims and the Jews were not very, very good. But in the mountain of Atlas, the Atlas mountain, where a lot of Jews lived, which we call them shloch today in Israel, their relationship with the Muslims were very, very good. And what I'm going to read you right now, it's mostly about the Jews who lived in the mountains. So Mimouna symbolized North Africa and especially close relationship between Jews and Muslims there. In many places, it was the Muslims who brought wheat, milk, and butter to the Jews at the end of the holiday so they could make food. Now, Ashkenaz Jews, I know sometimes sell their chametz and they buy it back at the end or just not buy it at all. I don't think that the Moroccan had that tradition. The Moroccan just kept their food at the Muslims' home or just didn't, but the Muslims used to bring the food at the end of Pesach to the Jewish people and even, you know, celebrated with them. They were invited to the Mimouna party. Now, Jews in Morocco were viewed as ones who blessed the land for the entire year. And the Muslims saw the holiday as an opportunity to pay back their Jewish neighbors. In the city of Azmor, Muslims allowed the Jews to use their fields and gardens for the entire day, out of a belief that the Jews would bless the land and leave it fertile. So in Morocco, the relationship between the Muslims and the Jews in Harea Atlas, in the mountain of the Atlas, were usually good. My mom used to say that in Casablanca, it wasn't like that. Like, I remember she was telling me that her father, every time he would come back from work, you know, people will steal his hat and he constantly had to buy new hats. But it was better in the mountain of the Atlas. All right, Dani. Okay, so what happened to the Mimouna? When I was a child, I mean, maybe 30 or 40 years ago, the only people who celebrated Mimouna was the Moroccan Jews. That's it. Okay, so like in my village, everybody celebrated Mimouna and everybody had a beautiful table and the doors were open. So you could go and enter any home that you wanted and just don't ask, go and serve yourself. You would look at the table and pick whatever you liked. Now, in my moshav, in my village, we knew who were the women who made the best mufleta. Mufleta is a dish that we eat during the Mimouna, and it's really, really yummy. And you really need to know how to make it. So sometimes we would go to the house where we knew that the woman knew really how to make good mufletas, and we chose those homes to go to. But here you can see that the Mimouna is not a Moroccan holiday anymore. It kind of became part of the Israel tradition. So Mimouna has become a popular annual happening. So right after the evening of the Mimouna, okay, in the morning, it's very traditional to go out to nature and have barbecue and eat and eat and eat, which Moroccans know how to do very, very well. We eat a lot. So this is a tradition that we do right after the evening. So today, right after the Mimouna, all of the people in Israel, most of them go out and have barbecue and picnic. Now, a central celebration in Jerusalem is happening in a place called Gan Saker, and it sometimes draws 100,000 people. And usually, you know, politicians comes there, and it's a big celebration. And also, one source estimated that in 2012, nearly 2 million people in Israel participate in Mimouna activities. So I grew up in a place that in my school, there were a lot of Ashkenaz Jews. So they were begging me to invite them to the Mimouna because they didn't celebrate it. And they loved coming and sharing all the goods and all the traditions that we used to do. So here you can see the family. Look at the women, at the men. The Moroccan men, they wear a tarbush on their heads. It's called a tarbush. Usually it's red. And the women wear kaftan. And I'm wearing one too. A kaftan is like a big, big dress that is very, very comfortable that you wear on the Mimouna. So the dress for the women is called kaftan. And the men used to wear tarbush. And the men also wear their own kaftan, but it was different than the women. So here you can see politicians coming to a Mimouna and enjoying everything. And you can see that everything is very, very sweet on the table. All right, next, Didi. All right, so we talked about traditions. So like I told you, I was born and grew up in a small village in the north of Israel called Moshav Dvorah. It was made out of 60 Jewish families who immigrated from Marrakesh, Morocco in 1956. And we had a lot of traditions, tons of traditions, okay? Which, you know, if you go now, you know, most of my parents' friends probably are not alive anymore. So you know, the young people do continue the traditions, which is really, really good. So right in the morning of the Mimouna, my father had a job to do. He had to go and collect some mimosa. Mimosa are the, you know, the yellow flowers that you see on the top right of this picture. I would think it's like the acacia that we have today, but I think it's a little bit different, but we call it mimosa. So my father used to cut branches from the mimosa and bring them home. And my mom used to hang them all over the walls. And that represents spring, because Mimouna is about springtime. And I love them. Now I can't stand them because I'm allergic to them, but back then I really, really loved them. And the whole house was full of mimosa. And that was my father's job, to cut the branches for decorating the house. So here you can see two women making the mufleta. So mufleta is a flour mixed with water. You can add some salt to it or a little bit of yeast, and you make it and you pile, you make it, you put one on top of the other, and after you have a pile of 7, you take it out and you spread some honey and you spread some butter on it and you roll it, and you eat it, and it's delicious. So I made some last night. Now it's dry, but when they're fresh, they're so, so good. It's delicious. And here on the right, you can see you can make them either triangle or roll them. You can see butter, you can see honey. Some people can eat them with jam. So this is a very popular food that is called mufleta. Everybody loves mufleta, but you really need to know how to make it to bring the dough to the right, to the right situation that it will become a mufleta. So it's like a crepe, but it's different. It's different than a crepe. It's like a crepe. You can also see it looks like a tortilla, but it's different. It's a little bit different. On the right bottom, you can see all the coconut cookies in different colors. They used to color them in all different colors. And my favorite thing was when my mom used to take dates. She used to open a date, take the pit out of the date, and put inside a pecan, and then hand it to me. You should try it. It's delicious. Again, take a date, take out the pit from it, put a piece of pecan in it, and eat it together. That was my favorite thing. I'm not so much on the cookies and that, but I really love the dates and the pecan. So these are some of the tradition that we had in our house. And just like I said, the door was open all the time and people came in and tried things and left, and then they would go to the next house and on and on and on. Now, my mom was known on making really good mufleta. So a lot of people came to my house because they knew that they can get a good mufleta. Now, honey and milk, of course, because honey and milk are the symbol of Israel, the symbol of wealth, also fertility. Oh, guys, the holiday of Mimouna is also about finding a good match. Okay. So another thing that my mom used to put on the table was flowers with gold, with jewelry made out of gold. So she would put her wedding ring, she would put her gold necklaces inside the flower. And that was for having, a good match. I mean, if for her kids or for everybody else. All right, so these are the traditions that we had, and we met everybody in the village and we danced and we sang, and it was my favorite holiday. All right, next, Didi. Okay, so here you can see a celebration in Israel, but that's many, many years ago. Okay, and you can see the women are wearing a kaftan and the men are wearing the special kaftan and tarbush on their head. And I have to say though, that as a child, I was a little bit shy about this holiday because the Ashkenaz friends that I had didn't do it. And I was kind of shy in the beginning, but then when I saw that they really loved it, I was proud of myself that I get to celebrate this special holiday. So more and more Jewish people are celebrating the Mimouna these days. And guess what? Last year during COVID, people couldn't get together. So families, Moroccan families just took everything, drove in the streets, and people will come out and get mufleta and get all the goodies and get all the sweets just to continue the tradition of having a Mimouna. All right, Didi? Okay, the one before? Okay, so here you can see, like I told you, a holiday of politician. It became really big for politicians. So politicians will go and celebrate in different homes. And here you can see the mufletas. Mufleta has a lot of oil in it. If it has a connection to mana, I don't think so. I don't think it has a connection to mana, but Mimouna sound like mana. You're right. Mimouna does sound like mana, but maybe there is. I'm not sure about that. All right, next, Didi. Okay, so here you can see a mother and two kids wearing beautiful kaftans. And look at the table. Look at the jams. My mom used to cook orange peels. And here you can see also maybe lemon or eshkolit. Pamplemousse. Never mind.
Grapefruit.
So grapefruits. Yeah, grapefruits. And you can see the milk and you can see all the sweets and yeah, a lot. Next, Didi. Okay, so this is me and this is my daughter, Danit. And this is a Mimouna celebration at our house. And this is my favorite tradition. So what do? We have to make a wish. So if you are the person who is sitting down, you have to make a wish in your head. You wish for something. And then the person who's holding the flowers is going to turn the flowers around your head and sing a song. And we're all hoping that your wish will come true. So that was a tradition that we did. And why flowers? Because it's spring. So what we're going to do now, if you want a wish to come true, you don't have to. You're welcome to go and grab flowers or a pot, anything that you have flowers in, and bring it in, and we'll try together. All right, so I have mine, daffodils. I got them today. Okay, And can you put me on a spotlight, Didi, and we'll do it together? Okay, so I'm on a spotlight, right, like this. So what we did, we used to put it over our head and we used to sing a song. Oh! It goes like this. ולא יצאנו ממצרים, הלחמניה בני חורין. And then we go, ולא יצאנו ממצרים, הלחמניה בני חורין. So if you want to do that, everybody make a wish. I'm making my wish. And we'll do it together. ולא יצאנו ממצרים, הלחמניה בני חורין. So next year, you'll see if your wish came true. Who knows? All right, Didi, do you want to play the music for ולא יצאנו ממצרים?
Yeah, here we go.
All right, let's do it. Listen to the words. It says that ולא יצאנו ממצרים. We're so happy that we got out of Egypt. Yes, all right, Didi. Okay, so I see that a lot of people are interested in asking questions about the Mimouna. First of all, one of you asked, how do you do the so I'll show you. I mean, you play with your tongue. So Moroccan do that a lot when they're happy. It's a Moroccan thing. All right, so that we did that in Passover. And okay, so Didi, can you tell me what question did you find?
Yeah, there was one other question about when Mimouna happens. Is it the night after Passover ends?
Yes, the night after Passover ends, when we can start eating chametz. Okay, the minute you can start eating chametz, this is when you celebrate Mimouna. Okay, so in the morning you couldn't eat chametz. When you see 3 stars in the sky, you can start eating chametz. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, when you can see in the shki'ah, in the sunset. No, when you see 3 stars in the sky, then you eat the chametz. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just the night after. And it's a holiday that celebrates spring and freedom and fertility and finding a good match and have a wealth and happiness and just celebration of being free and entering the spring. And yeah. Okay, more question, Didi?
Yeah, another one just came in. So the Mimouna feast is made of chametz, but how does that work with Passover?
Okay, so no, remember that I told you that all the cookies that the Moroccan made were made out of nuts and made out of coconut. The only thing that they made of chametz was the mufleta, and they made it right in the evening. Okay. Next, Didi.
I think that's it for now. Does anyone else want to chime in?
Any more questions? Okay. Daniti, would you want to play the movie with the song? Oh, Tamar, do you want to take it from here?
Oh, we actually have
here.
Yeah, there's one other question.
Oh, yeah.
Is the mufleta, sorry, I don't know if I know the first word. Okay. Jay, do you want to tell us what you meant? Oh, piled, sorry, piled or rolled?
Okay, so when you cook it, first of all, you put oil, and then you put the first mufleta, okay? And then on top of it, you put another one, and then you flip and you add another one, and then you flip and you add another one 7 times, okay? And when you have 7 mufletas, you put them on the plate. And then after you put the honey or the butter or wherever, you can fold it one at a time. And it's supposed to be soft and yummy.
Okay. Can we do one more question, Tamar?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's about Morocco today. Are there many Jews living in Morocco now?
Okay, so there are not many Jews who lives in Morocco. There is a community in Casablanca. I would say like maybe 5,000 Jews. Actually, my mom's brother still lives there, and he loves life so much that he never left because life is very good for him over there. They were always treated really nicely by the king. That's why I can say that the Jewish people in Morocco had good life, not like in other countries, like not just like in other Muslim countries. The Jews in Morocco were really liked by the king. Actually, a lot of them worked for the king too.
Cool.
And Sherry, to answer your question, I'm still working on learning all these delicious foods. Couscous I've tried, and oh my God, why am I blanking? What's the traditional Moroccan dish, Ima?
Oh, I forgot how you call that.
I have a mini one. You know how you cook in these? Yeah.
Tagine.
Tagine, thank you.
Tagine.
And I've done tagine a couple times, but I need to work on my mofleta.
And the food is definitely delicious, as you all know. Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for joining me tonight and sharing with me this beautiful holiday that I love, love, love. And I made a neder. My neder is next year, if we don't have Corona, thank God, I would have a big Mimouna in my house and invite everybody.